The only politically palatable version of restoring sanity to our military right now is this. Speaking of setting higher standards, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, has just caught a lot of flack because he gave a speech to generals saying that we need high standards in the military. And if this means that we have to prioritize military readiness over social engineering, so be it. If this means that 4'11", 90-pound women don't get to be Navy SEALs, that's just the price we have to pay for being able to defend our country.
But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. That is not the intent, but it could be the result, so be it. It will also mean that weak men won't qualify because we're not playing games. This is combat. This is life or death. As we all know, this is you versus an enemy hell-bent on killing you. To be an effective, lethal fighting force, you must trust that the warrior alongside you in battle is capable, truly physically capable of doing what is necessary under fire. You know this is the only standard you would want for your kids and for your grandkids. Apply the War Department Golden Rule, the 1990 test, and the E6 test, and it's really hard to go wrong.
Beautifully stated. Really, this is exactly the right thing for Pete to be saying. This is as bold as it is possible to be in politics. I want to point out, in principle, it actually doesn't go far enough. Because what Pete is saying here is, look, we just need gender neutrality. What the libs were saying was we need to lower the standards so that we can have more women in combat. We so want women in combat that we need to lower military standards, make our military fighting force less lethal, less ready, in order to socially engineer and advance our ideology that men and women are the same, even though they're not. And so what Pete is saying is he's got the more conservative version. He says we need gender neutrality. And if women can't meet the standards, which most of them will not, then they don't get to fight. And if women can meet the standards, all the better. But if they can't, they're not gonna be in combat, which is a huge improvement. But it's worth pointing out, I think the ideal here is, call me old-fashioned, I don't think we should be sending our women, our wives and our daughters to go get blown up by jihadis. Call me old-fashioned. I guess maybe call me a sexist, I guess. I think it is wrong for a country to do that, to send women into combat. Even if some women want to go into combat. Because I don't think that consent and the individual will and individual autonomy is the be-all and end-all of morality. And I think it is just kind of wrong to send our wives and our mothers and our daughters to go be stabbed and shot at and beaten and killed, I should say, in war, by terrorists and the worst people on earth. I think that's wrong, and we shouldn't do that. Because I don't think that there's really neutrality in gender. I think men and women really are different. And we all admit that when it comes to the trans issue, or at least when it comes to transing the kids. But then we don't want to admit it when it comes to other issues sometimes, like marriage or like combat, or we just don't. Then we're back to being liberal. Then we're back to gender neutrality. So the ideal here, I think, is to say, no, let's not blow up our wives and our mothers and our daughters, actually. But I want to be totally clear. I am in no way criticizing what Pete said. The only politically palatable version of restoring sanity to our military right now is this. I'm not trying to read Pete's mind. I don't know. This might just be his total belief. And if so, that's fine by me. That's great. This is, without question, the only way to start to restore some sanity. And when you're talking about democratic politics, you have to appeal to most people. And so when you're just talking about most people, forget your ideal view of things for a second. When you're saying, do you at least agree with this? Can anyone disagree with what Pete said? Which basically comes down to, we need high standards in the military, and we need to prioritize strength and lethality over gender ideology. Can anyone disagree with that? I guess, look, 20% of Americans maybe disagree with that. The hard left disagrees with that. 70, 80% are going to be on his side. How can anyone disagree? Yet again, you have the Trump administration taking the right side of an 80-20 issue. Let the Democrats say otherwise. Let the Democrats say, no, forget about military readiness. Forget about military coordination. We need to stop placing so much emphasis on defending our homeland and protecting the men that we're sending into battle by making sure that there's cohesion and everyone's up to snuff, because you're only as strong as your weakest link. No, forget. We got to stop prioritizing that because we need to advance the causes of feminism or gender ideology. Let the Democrats campaign on that, please. Be my guests. You're great. Campaign on that and healthcare for illegals. And we'll see you at the ballot box in the midterms. That was a great clip. Now stop, ring the bell, subscribe. We'll see you next time.